Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 and Brood War coming at ya. It's a StarCraft Evolution Complete cast sent into SniperMonkey. Email address in the description for Minrick Madness. It's going to be Meven versus HyperONE here on Neo Isles of Siren. So, this is just a mod that lets you... Is this game speed slow? Okay, so now it's good. That lets you compete Brood War versus StarCraft 2 for supremacy and bragging rights. So this is a weird island map, man. The StarCraft Evolution mod makers do love weird maps. They ported over Monty Hall into this. They ported over Troy. They made an island map. So they do like weird games. So top right, we've got HyperONE. He is our Red Zerg Brood War player. An important distinction, got a mineral wall you have to mine out before you can get out of your main base. And at the top left, it's a StarCraft 2 player. It is Meven, a green Terran. So yeah, this is an island map. So you can expand here on your island. You can expand here on your island. You got rich Vespene gas, which just means that Vespene gas returns more Vespene gas than a normal Vespene geyser, like this one. And yeah, I'm going to post this on my Brood War channel and my StarCraft 2 channel because I think it is interesting for both segments of my population and my StarCraft casts. So, this is a little back door, and it leads to another expansion with 2 Vespene geysers. And in the center here, we have a 4 Vespene geyser base with a lot of minerals, and it's mirrored all the way for 4 players. So... it's an island map. Again, I know it doesn't quite look like it, but it is. We got ourselves a hatch first into pool, into a second hatch at 1 minute and 50 seconds. Here from HyperONE, we've saturated the gas here, just waiting on the spawning pool. And yeah, this is a Brood War Zerg. He can only make Brood War units and structures. And they're still fiddling with the balance here, but I feel like it's pretty good. So yeah, StarCraft Evolution complete. So we got ourselves a command center, upgrading to an orbital command, letting it call down mules. And why are we not expanding? Why are we just... Meven, do you not know that you can mine through this mineral field and access these expansions? Why are we building an orbital command inside your main base? So, got ourselves a barracks into a factory. Lair coming up. Got ourselves a macro hatch. Very, very good. Taking this gas at the natural base. Or I don't know, is this the natural base? I think they're pretty much equidistant from the main base. So maybe you need to saturate it. Hurry up and saturate it, HyperONE. So I think we're going to see Mutalisks and Devourers and Guardians here on this StarCraft Evo Complete cast. And, you know, versus Vikings versus maybe some battle cruisers. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what Meven will make here on this island map. A starport is coming up. And this is making a tech lab, which we can swap onto the starport if you are interested in making battle cruisers very, very fast. Third command center here, and she did float the orbital command down here to an expansion. And yeah, so fully mining out these minerals is Meven. And based on these openings, I think HyperONE has a very, very early lead here. 38 workers to 26. We got 3 bases. We got ourselves a creep colony that we can morph into a spore colony. And yeah, man, my familiarity with Brood War and StarCraft 2, I think makes me one of the few people that are qualified to comment on StarCraft Evo Complete matches. Not the only one, not the best one, but just a few. The StarCraft 2 and Brood War fan bases do not overlap very much. Spore colony here in the StarCraft 2 client. Got ourselves Hydralisks. Hey, muscular augments. Just checking, just patrolling to make sure that there's not going to be a Banshee showing up or a Liberator or something. But looks like we're going to go ahead and gear up for a medevac drop here from Meven. All right, I like that idea a lot on this map. Island map, drop Marines. Marines do very, very well against Hydralisks, both in Brood War and in StarCraft 2, without any support, like Lings or Banelings or Lurkers, right? Oh, man. Brood... Oh, canceled? Canceled? Whatever that upgrade was. Whatever that upgrade was. Into, I want to say, Overlord speed. So the Overlord here perching up, but the Medevac spotted it of the high ground. And saturating this rich Vespine Geyser with 1 SCV instead of the 3 that is indicated here. Overlord says, are you taking it? Oh, he evolved drop. Okay, very cool. We got Lurker Aspect being researched here by HyperONE. We've got Ling Speed, a little bit delayed, but that's because this is an island map. And so it's going to be drop versus drop here. Oh my goodness. What is going on? I like it a lot. We got a Hellion on the outside scouting around. No, actually just went down that back door and swung around to see what's going on over here. And yeah, this is all that actually separates these two players. I didn't realize his pathing went over here, or Meven's pathing went over here. And it's just a little bit of a kind of a river that separates these two players, but it is completely segmented off all the way around. You cannot go for ground to your opponent. So little groups of Hydras defending against incoming anything. Got some Lurkers here too. And we did research drop, which in Brood War means that you can actually just get drop and it changes all of your Overlords into Dropper Lords, which I think that used to be a thing in StarCraft 2. And then they changed it to where you can make 1 Overlord a Dropper Lord by paying to get it upgraded once you have an Evolution Chamber. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and swing on over here. There's a sensor tower up here from Meven and over here from Meven, which just lets you see things inside the sensor tower. See, there are units there. So look, if we look here.
Without more supply, we're not.
Oh, there you go. See, you can see stuff coming in even before they show up in your vision. That's pretty cool. So Lurker unload, burrowing. They will shred these Marines. They're way better against Marines than StarCraft 2 Marines are. Oh my gosh. Did you see that? Did you see that? 13 kills on that one Lurker. This is brutal stuff. They're not as good against buildings as StarCraft 2 Lurkers are, but they're insanely good against light units like Marines, like Firebats, like Medics in the Brood War. Like, again, these Hydras not going to trade very well versus the Marines, I imagine. Same thing here in StarCraft 2. Yep. StarCraft 2 Marines will shred them just like they do in Brood War. But 15 SCVs killed. Lurkers just setting themselves up on this ramp. Marauder's going to do okay against these. And finally, enough Marines show up to clear this out. But 15 Marines died. Absolutely brutal stuff so far. Income is 54 workers to 39. Income hugely favoring HyperONE here. We get the income advantage tab. Here in the StarCraft 2 client, we get a list of units lost here too. And we get an active worker count, active army supply count. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of information for us here. Macro hatches on the way from HyperONE. He's floating some minerals. He is actually spending his gas pretty darn well, but just Hydro Lurker dropping. That seems to be his entire strategy here today. We'll see if he can follow that up with anything else. I would love to see some Devourers and some Guardians here, but perhaps that is not something that he has in mind for us in this particular match, but it makes me want to cast more StarCraft Evo Complete. Definitely without a case, or without a question. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. There are tournaments being held here. I believe Top was involved in one of them. MVP, the legendary Terran StarCraft 2 player, competed as well. I mean, HyperONE told me that that dude retired and is running like a shop in the middle of nowhere with his wife, which, I mean, I believe him. HyperONE hasn't lied to me before, but it's just so crazy to me that somebody as legendary as MVP would choose such a quiet life for himself. But he was able to be dragged back to do the StarCraft Evo thing at the behest of Top. And I mean, that just makes me so happy. Some of these legends coming back, right? Okay, so giant massive Hydro Lurker drop here from HyperONE. Army value is about even, and Meven's catching up on worker count too. Nicely done. Continuing to make SCVs off to these 3 orbitals. And, I mean, do you want to unload here and then walk all the way around and try to attack? Or do you do... Nope, let's just try to unload right here. Meven gets a scan off. We can see the green, so we know it's her scanning because duh. Anyway, yeah, big Marine Marauder Ball with Medevac support against Hydra. The Lurkers, though, if the lurker spines can do some work on it, I like this engagement quite a bit. For HyperONE, the lurker spines, they're not quite reaching that army there. They don't have a range upgrade like they do in StarCraft 2. Brood War lurkers have one range, and that's it. Oh, those medevacs flying. What is that control? Oh, no, those medevacs flew right over those hydralisks, and most of them got obliterated. One of them managed to make it back out of there alive. The third base of Meven is lifted off. This is brutal. HyperONE does not feel like going deeper into this main base. That's probably where I would go. But aside, yeah, is going to go ahead and send some units that way. Some of the army, some empty overlords are heading over back home as well. Armor upgrades, ground carapace upgrades coming in from HyperONE. And, yeah. Oh, the Hydras do the spit attack, too, instead of the, like, spine attack. That's great. Okay, they just move commanded into a ton of Marine Marauder, so didn't get to see that spit attack that time, unfortunately. HyperONE's got a macro hatch up here. I'm assuming just more for vision than anything else, but it does provide a lot of larva. A lot of larva for sure. So more overlords. We're getting lings out of the mix here. Going to give them the adrenal ling upgrade. Oh, there's a queen's nest to upgrade to a hive. Big deal. Meven snuck a command center down to the bottom left, though. Did lose some SCVs. Did have to lift off this third base temporarily, but still at 57 workers. 70 workers for HyperONE. He's taken this base, which again is all the way around. If you want to send drones down here, it's a long, long walk. Sunkens are pretty great against Marines, too. I imagine they're pretty good bad against Marauders. Just because Marauders do bonus to Armored. Oh, did we give Sunkens the Armored attribute, though? Do any of the StarCraft Brood War buildings or units have Armored Light attributes? I don't know. I don't know about unloading here. Meven's ready for it, man. Just setting up. The Overlords are kind of obscuring the battle here. They're fat Overlord bodies, but wow. Meven crushed that army. Concrushed is not even a word. Concussed and crushed that army. 85 to 34 army supply. Meven is killing it despite all the damage that they have taken earlier here. This is going very well. Ravens in production. Marines. Medevacs 3-3 coming in from Meven. Out there on those engineering bays. Hive upgrade coming in from HyperONE. Oh my gosh, Dark Swarm. Dark Swarm in StarCraft 2, you guys. This is a way for HyperONE to get back into this game because he's really getting his patootie kicked right now. He needs more lurkers. He needs more splash damage against this Marine Marauder comp. Or Dark Swarm to completely negate the damage of Marines and Marauders. To anything inside that Dark Swarm would do really well for HyperONE too. He knows that. He's getting, what on earth is that upgrade? Queen's Nest is getting, I guess, energy upgrade, and Spawn Broodling is coming in here. It's gotta be double Spire. Ooh, we might end up getting what we want here with those Devourers and Guardians, guys. Let's wait until those Spires are done and see what we get. HyperONE at 63 workers. Income is, as you can see, the Meven Mules are coming in, providing extra income here that we can see along that income tab. Mules are just things that orbital commands call down with their energy to mine a little bit more quickly. Yeah, this lurker drop stuff is not getting as much done for HyperONE as I think as he wants. More quickly than the SCVs do. So it does create a nice little spike in income overall for the Terran player and is amazing. Okay, Double Spire finishing up here soon. HyperONE's just going to be dropping all the livelong day here. He has 30 army supply, but 83 workers. He's floating about 1,000 minerals and 1,000 gas, but he can turn those into mutas and turn those into Guardians and turn those into Devourers. And I'd love to see how we deal with Guardians here. On this map, you can kind of hang over the edge and it's hard to get under them and kill them. I do see some Vikings. They can be a good answer for sure. High-sec auto-tracking coming in, increasing the range attack of missile turrets and planetaries. I don't see any planetaries from Meven, though. But she's expanding a bunch down here to the south, and I'm pretty sure that HyperONE does not know about this. So we spent the money on lurkers and get a Morphin. Oh, just canceled the lurkers. Getting a Greater Spire upgrade here. Loving that. So what's he going to spend the money on? Mutas, right? It's got to be. He's going to do Mutalisks. He is loading up a bunch of drones to try to expand. Oh, is he going to try to take center? Is he going to be gutsy and try to take the center? Big fan. Big fan of trying to take the middle of the map here from HyperONE. But he's just got rings of spores on his side of the map. Rings of turrets are being planned here from Meven too. And the man takes the center like the madman that HyperONE is. Yeah, he's floating all this cash. He did use it on a ton of lurkers, canceled the lurker upgrades, and instead is making 19 Scourge? Is he seriously firing up 19 Scourge right now? Oh, no, those are mutas. I think those are... Yeah, okay. Those are definitely mutalisks. For a second, they look like mutas. Sometimes the art is struggling a bit here for me, but I think I'm generally able to get an idea of what the Brood War production tab indicators are. Meven scouts this, can land these Vikings and fire on this hatchery if they so wish. Oh my gosh, HyperONE expand, 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 expand. Quintuple expanding to the center if we want to count that one. And then everybody drops on. That's a canceled base if ever I saw one. Just menacingly, there you go, hovering over it until... I think that was a kill, not a cancel. So then we unload over here, try to get some work done on some of these missile turrets. Oh, never mind. Reloading back up. Doesn't like what he sees there. And here are the Mutalisks in StarCraft 2. Beautiful. Beautiful to see you guys. There are actually mutas in StarCraft 2, but they changed this model to make it a little more Brood War-esque. We're going to turn some of them into Guardians. There we go. Guardians, worst Brood Lords, I believe, is the way to describe them to any StarCraft 2 fans watching. Brood Lords aren't particularly good right now in StarCraft 2, but they are really bad in Brood War. Oh, he canceled again and then turned them into Devourers. Okay, so he does... Okay, some Guardians here. I think those are in the StarCraft 2 campaign as well. In the Heart of the Swarm campaign especially, you get Guardians. So you guys probably know what they are if you play through the campaign. Devourers, I don't think exist in StarCraft 2 in any capacity, so this modeling is going to be interesting for sure. And, bam, here they are. Oh, okay, calm down, guys. They have little flappy wings? Devourers don't really have flappy wings in Brood War. They just kind of look like husks of flying blobs, but it's all right. This base gets wiped out by a group of Marauders who do bonus damage to armored stuff, and do they do... I don't know. We'll have to ask HyperONE about that. It can probably answer that question in the comments. So the mutas don't have any upgrades, but there are a bunch of them. And I'm keep trying to use hotkeys for Brood War cast because I'm looking at Devourers and Guardians and stuff. Okay, that base died, but the revenge was had. Army value 102 to 126. HyperONE has recovered quite nicely. What with the 98 workers he had, which is probably too many. Oh, there we go. So the Devourer is an evolution of the Mutalisk that shoots a purple goop on stuff that basically debuffs it, right? Debuffs it to where every stack of acid spore damage that has been put onto it by a Devourer increases the damage taken by the thing by 1. And it goes up to 7 or 8, I think is the maximum. So you gotta watch out for that. Oh my gosh, no, bad. This is where Zerg really wishes they had Hydras, man. Or not Hydras, Banelings. We already have Hydralisks, but yeah, using the Guardians maybe to pick. Yeah. Guardians here to pick from this angle. Their attack is definitely more green than I expected it to be. Ooh, battle cruisers on the way from Meven. We do get some battle cruisers. So everything I expected to see here we're seeing. Yeah, big hits. From these Guardians. They have kind of a slow attack and only a single attack. No splash damage on those guys. But they hit pretty hard and they outrage things like missile turrets. Raven gets a massive anti-armor missile on this Devourer and Guardian group, which decreases their armor by a bunch. And will bring you into negative armor if you don't have a lot of it already. So, like, Zerglings will go into negative armor if they catch one of those early in the game. And they don't have any armor upgrades themselves. So it just makes you squishier, and maybe these do a better job of not drifting into range of the static defense that they're meant to outrange. Sure seems like that's kind of what's going on here. Yeah, they're killing Marines. I like the little green splash effect on the Guardian attack. It makes it seem like it's better. Oh, you drifted too close into Terran territory, my friend. And now you are dead. But hey, did what you had to do, I guess. I don't know, man. Upgrades across the board are crazy. 1-1. +2 Flyer Carapace just finished up from HyperONE. So Meven's got the bigger army, but HyperONE has the better economy. Both players floating some level of resources here, so they've got banks to fall back on. They're both effectively maxed out. More Guardians being produced. HyperONE thinks that's the answer here. More and more Guardians with Devourers in case something comes to kill the Guardians because they can't defend themselves, right? Yeah, we are definitely wandering into missile turret range. I think the Devourers are more than the Guardians, though. I think these Guardians are doing a pretty good job staying out of range, which I'm pretty happy to see. Guardians that don't drift into enemy missile turret range? What is this? Or cannon range, for that matter. Yeah, something about flying units in Brood War. They drift like crazy. Oh, yeah, I think you need a different control group for the Devourers to hold back as the Guardians poke in, and then if something comes to kill the Guardians, then yeah, send the Devourers forward and the Guardians back, but don't send the Devourers out in front. That's not going to work out for you under any capacity. Oh, they're just random hatcheries down here. HyperONE's like, I have so much money. I could spend forever. Queens are in production. I have no idea what this upgrade is. But it's on the Roach Warren, which is actually a Defiler Mound. Oh, is that Plague? They just used the Roach Warren model for the Defiler Mound. Disappointed. Big engagement here, though. It's hard to tell. Nice anti-armor missile for sure. Guardians fairly winning the day right here. Some of them are dying, but there are so many of them. 18 Guardians just crushing that ground army. 88 to 95 army supply, but Meven, a lot of that is medevacs, which do not help very much. They're taking that Acid Spore debuff really seriously here. And some Lurkers burrow in, and those SCVs are not long for this world. Not versus Lurkers under any circumstances. No form of StarCraft is that a good matchup for them. The splash damage is the major problem here. So yeah, Guardians crushing through. Taking down a planet. Oh, that is a planetary fortress that was built over here. Nice. More SCV deaths. Maven's worker count is not good. Sub 30. It looks like some of these Guardians are wandering into missile turret range, which is not great. Meven is doing what? Making more battle cruisers. Already has 5 of them, making 6 more, getting +2/+2 for the BCs. BCs in StarCraft 2 are infinitely better than they are in Brood War. They can move while attacking. They can teleport to anywhere in the map without vision. And they have Yamato. The one thing that really makes them best is their ability to attack while moving, which if you give that ability to any unit, it improves them immensely. If that's all you did to StarCraft Brood War battle cruisers, let them attack while moving, they'd be so much better. But we're never going to see a balance change in StarCraft Brood War, and that's okay. Totally fine. It can be its own thing. StarCraft 2 can continue to evolve and grow and change and piss people off with some of the changes that are made. But it's a way to keep it interesting at the very least. Maybe it's not good, but interesting. We'll give it that. Yeah, these battle cruisers are in for a big surprise if they try to fight these Devourers. The thing about Devourers is, though, they don't do very much damage on their own. They do 20 damage per shot. Yamato on some of the Devourers. They're catching that Acid Spore debuff, but their attack speed is really slow. It seems to be actually possibly faster here. Oh gosh, mass battle cruiser army. Good scan to wipe out those Lurkers too. Chasing the Sky Zerg army away. The Lurkers need to retreat from here, but they are not. They're not getting a lot of damage either. Crikey, mate. Are these queens? Why are we building mass queen? Like, if you've got spawn broodling and you want to spawn broodling some tanks or something, sure, mass queen makes sense. Maybe I am misinterpreting what is being built here. No, that's definitely a queen. And, okay, there's one of them there. Oh, center base. I love the absolute optimism of HyperONE trying to build a base when there are 15 battle cruisers right above him. 16 battle cruisers. My apologies. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're going to want to plague these battle cruisers. You want to get some Devourers. You want to get some Mutalisks, right? And then you can take these guys out pretty easily, would be my guess. They're not that different as far as their tanky capabilities compared to Brood War battle cruisers because they got a lot of HP, but Plague hits hard. Okay, I mean, they're just tearing through this base. You can see some of them moving while attacking a little bit. Was their attack speed increased? Kind of looks like battle... what the... Oh, you ensnared the battle cruisers. with the queens that slows their attack speed and their movement speed, but it doesn't do any damage to them. So that was cool. Like, I'll give you that. Nice ensnare. You goop them up, but it wears off, and they're none worse for the wear once it wears off. This battle cruiser's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yo. Yeah, that was brutal stuff. Okay, but missile turrets are kind of the natural enemy of this Queen Devourer thing, bud. Maybe not. Maybe don't stand here and let these missile turrets kill your very expensive units. Okay, well, the Guardians came in eventually and shut it down. Battle cruisers. Yeah, man, it looks like you increased the attack speed of StarCraft 2 battle cruisers. That is an interesting choice. Why did you do that? I don't understand why you would do that. They're pretty good as is. I mean, especially on something like an island map like this, yeah? Hey, look, it's a tank. You could spawn broodling that thing. I mean, spawn broodling a single tank isn't really a great use of the energy because there's really no use. I mean, it's no threat, right? Oh, we get some there's the teleport. Teleport in. Yes, plague them. Plague, 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 plague. Super plague. Landing some mules for repair purposes. They can also repair as well as gather minerals quickly. This looks like a final battle, and Snare gets tossed down as well. Vikings on the right side doing some terrible work. Guardians, nothing to shoot except, I guess, the mules that are trying to repair stuff. And that's a GG. HyperONE taps out. He was losing his army. He was losing everything. All of his mutalisks. Actually, he's doing okay. This feels like a premature GG, HyperONE. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? He doesn't have anything of a bank either. Oh, I guess that's fair. He's mined out on all of these places. This was where his income was, and it's gone. Oh, I mean, I still think it's premature, though. These battle cruisers are dying. You still have 12 Devourers, and I think a bunch of Mutas, too. The thing about Mutalisks in conjunction with Devourers is the debuff applies to every attack that hits the battle cruiser. So these Mutalisks are throwing glaive worms around that are bouncing all over these BCs. Every tick is taking into account every tick of debuff on the Acid Spore. I think this could have been taken down. The Vikings are a problem. Probably. But yeah, I mean, look at this abject chaos in here. Are there mutas in here? Or am I just right-clicking on Devourers and there aren't actually any mutas here at all? Okay, so that icon is Devourer. Maybe he doesn't actually have any mutas here. Never mind. Just pure Devourer. The Guardian count is hefty, but there's nothing really to shoot at this point. Again, other than those mules. Yeah, I guess if there aren't any mutas here, that is a bit of an issue. Still, feels like a bit of a premature GG. I mean, Meven's mining off of effectively one base right now. I guess two. Two bases here, but look, you could drop some drones over here, shut this thing down. I don't know. Yeah, feels premature, but that's a GG. StarCraft 2 Terran gets the win on the back of Le Battle Cruiser. Very, very cool stuff, man. Really, really cool stuff. So, all right, that was fantastic. That was a really, really, really fun StarCraft Evo Complete replay. Yeah, it's a replay, not a live game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more of this. Let me know if you want to see more of this, but I feel, well, I'm not going to influence it. So yeah, let's see how many resources were lost. 28,000 resources lost from Meven, 39,000, almost 40,000 resources lost from HyperONE, 20 Devourers, 56 Lurkers is a lot of Lurkers, man. 8 Guardians, 83 Hydralisks, 10 Queens went down to. Only 6 BCs went down of the many, many that were produced here. A lot of Marines died, 61 and 23 of these Friends, Marines, and Marauders. They worked very well together. 13 Medevacs went down. No Medevacs remained in this game. It was just a battle cruiser tech switch out of Meven that really worked extremely well. Got the Plague, right? Got the Acid Spore, but nothing to really take advantage of the Acid Spore debuff, and we'll do better next time. So GG, well done, and that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Evo Complete. We'll just call it that. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram, all at /Falcon Paladin. Again, send your mid-rank madness replays to SniperMonkey, subject of mid-rank madness. and make sure it's gold, diamond, or platinum level somewhere in there in StarCraft 2. And I don't know what it would be in. It's not really a Brood War thing, so don't worry about it. But yeah, until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.